All right, so all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, where I've learned this truth. And shalom to the sincere followers of this truth. I hope that didn't stop the recording. All right, so today is going to be part 2 in the video series. Today's going to be in the video series, Teach Exactly What You Were Taught. It's going to be part 2 on the topic, the lowest class, okay? But before I get into that lesson, I wanted to go back into a little bit of what I was showing at the end of part 1, which is going deeper into studies, because just reading these other translations might not, and for the most case, is not enough, okay? So what I was going over was John 3:16, because that is used by a lot of people to try to portray that the Lord is coming back for everyone, or the Lord loves everyone, or the Lord is going to save everyone, and that is just not true. So if you have a concordance, and if you go to don't think about the concordance for a second. If you go to John 3:16, okay, and read that out loud. Let's go ahead and go to the verse that I'm speaking of. It is John chapter 3 and verse 16, and it reads, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, so that," excuse me, I'm gonna start all over. John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." All right. And I even read that kind of quickly. You can't ignore those the punctuation in these scriptures. So just take your time while you're reading. If there's a comma there, pause for a minute, see what that point was that was being shown through whatever you read before that comma, okay? And then so on and so forth, all right? So I'll read it again and I'll pause at these commas. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world," okay, "that he gave his only begotten son," all right, "that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." All right. So we're going to focus on that word world really quick. All right. And I'm going to actually read that in the NLT and the Good News translation. So John 3 and 16, and it reads, "For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish but have eternal life." Okay, that was the NLT. Now we're going to go ahead and do the Good News translation. All right. Oh man. Okay. John 3 and verse 16 in the Good News. "For God loved the world so much that he gave his only son, so that everyone who believes in him may not die but have eternal life." Okay. And actually, I'm going to check the I checked King James earlier. Yeah, King James, the 1611. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it says the same thing. I'll go ahead and read it just so you know. It says, "For God so loved the world." What is that? Okay. Yeah, so, "For God so loved world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." All right, I just want to check that out and see what that was. If it said anything, if it worded it any different. Now, the word "world," okay, and that's in the New Testament, okay, which is if you go into the Greek concordance, it's in the Greek, okay, to look for the definition and the root of these words. All right, some Greek words may have a lot of Hebrew root words because um, uh, some words go back that far. Okay, so um, but if we look at the word "world" in the New Testament, it'll be Greek in the concordance. Okay, now let's go back here and see what that was. The word "world" in John 3:16. That was 2889 in the Greek. So let's see what that was again. Pretty sure it was cosmos. Let's go back and look. All right, so 2889. Cosmos. All right. Orderly arrangement, a decoration. Okay. An adorning. All right. Cosmos is first a harmonious arrangement or order. Okay. Then by extension, adornment or decoration. Okay. So it said first by is first a harmonious arrangement. That was Israel, okay? Or that is Israel when first, okay? And then where was it extended to? The Israelites that were scattered abroad, all right? That's why when it says then by extension an adornment or decoration, okay? Now, now let's go to let's go now I want to go to Revelation, which is also in the New Testament, okay? Also in the New Testament. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Okay, in the King James, and it reads, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." So that word "world" is also right here, right? Let's see what it says in the NLT. Revelation 3:10 says, "Because you have obeyed my command to preserve or to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the world, the whole world, excuse me, to test those who belong to this world. Okay. And in the good news, Revelation 3 and 10, it reads, because you have kept my command to endure, I will also keep you safe from the time of trouble which is coming upon the world to test all the people on the earth. All right. So, all the people on the earth, and that word world, okay, in the New Testament again. So now let's go back to the Greek, the Bible concordance, right? Now that should be that was the whole world, right? All the people of the earth, right? So it should be cosmos if what people say is true, that the Lord gave his son for the world, all right, meaning the whole world. It should be the same word, right? In the Greek. Let's see. World, Revelation 3 and 10. It's a different word. It sends you to a whole different word. Let's see what that word is. 3:6:25. All right. All right. The Greek word for the word world in Revelation 3 and 10 is oikomene. Okay? Oikomene. All right? Of the whole inhabited world. Okay? It's a different word. All right? Um the inhabited world, okay? So, it's a whole different Greek word, which means it's not the same. There's different definitions for one word. All right, you have to go in and see specifically what's being talked about there. Now, as a matter of fact, you have to get to know. You have to do it in context. You have to go. You have to keep studying and digging for these things. All right, and throughout the whole scriptures, all it points to is Israel. All right, the Israelites. That's all it points to. Is the Lord and the Israelites. All right. The only reason it mentions these other nations is because the Israelites were scattered amongst all these nations um, for not obeying the Lord. All right. That was one of the punishments in Deuteronomy. Okay. That brings me to another thought, which I didn't think I was going to go any place besides that. But so Jacob and Esau, okay, they're twins, right? So how do you tell the difference, or why are they considered twins? Or if you think about twins, you can't tell the difference between them, right? So it applies to now, because they have lied so much, right? And through schemes and craftiness, they have the world, the oikomene, besides the remnant, okay, believing that they are the people of the Bible, okay, that they are the people of the Lord, all right. And then on the other hand, you have us, the cosmos, okay, the remnant, who actually are the people, and we present to you the truth through the scriptures, and you still can't tell the difference, like a twin, okay, all right, because you aren't listening. The main way you can tell identical twins apart, which they're not identical. I didn't say that to mean that they're identical, but I'm just using twins as an example. If you have identical twins, okay, the only people that are going to know them apart are people who either came up with them, and even they have trouble sometimes. If they go a time without seeing them, all right, they'll have a trouble telling them apart. But what I'm saying is the people who go up with them and know them, okay, know these twins apart, uh, and sometimes they can't figure out why you can't tell them apart because they can tell them apart clearly. All right, so you have to get to know the twins. You know, they have different spirits. I mean, twins can be identical and have different spirits. Um, one can lie all the time, one can be all about the truth. All right, but if you are just looking on them in the outward and just taking their words for it, okay, you won't know the difference. That's why it says to study. You have to study these things, and it's plain to see which twin is which, Esau or Jacob. Okay? The truth will point you into the right direction. All right? But the Lord has to will it. All right? The Spirit has to be on you. The Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and who Yahweh is whom the world ignorantly calls God. All right? You think that's his name. That is not his name. His name is Yahweh. And his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, his real name is Yahweh Shai. So, in order to see the difference between these twins, all right, that's really obvious to the remnant and to um, Esau, okay? The difference. If you want to see the difference, you have to go into these things and study. The Lord has to will you to go into these things and study, all right? And you have to study, read, listen, okay? And it's plain to see which twin is which, all right? If you can't tell by what they say, all right? If you don't know the scriptures, okay? You hear the remnant and Esau use the scriptures. They're both using the same scriptures, but until you go in and know the context, know the spirit of Esau and Jacob, all right? You will be able to tell whom are the Lord's, all right? It's plain to see, okay? So yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. But we'll go ahead and start this lesson up. The topic is, this is the video in the series, Teach Exactly What You Were Taught, and the topic being the lowest class, all right? Because the Lord's people would be the lowest class now. They wouldn't be, they wouldn't be in the power seat, okay? All right, and Esau runs everything, specifically Amalek, okay? All right, so I'll start back into 2 Samuel, or excuse me, Deuteronomy. I'll start in Deuteronomy chapter 7. And verse 6. Excuse me. Let me get this. Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. All right, and it reads. First of all, the heading for chapter 6 of Deuteronomy in the King James. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm going to chapter 7, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. All right. And it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people." All right. An arrangement. All right. An adornment. Okay. Unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. Let me go to the NLT. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6 in the NLT. And it reads, "For you are a holy people who belong to the Lord your God. Of all the people on earth, the Lord your God has chosen you to be his own special treasure," an adornment, an arrangement, right? Let's see what it says in the Good News Translation. 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 in the Good News, it says, "Do this because you belong to the Lord your God. From all the peoples on earth, he chose you to be his own special people." Okay? So that goes back to, that touches on those two words for world also. All right? It also goes back to that salvation being only for the Israelites. Okay? So we as Israelites are that holy people. All right? We are that royal priesthood that the scriptures speak about. So what happened to us? Okay? We lost our identity. We lost our identity because we did not keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. All right? That's what happened to us. Okay? Now let's go to Deuteronomy 28. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. And the heading right above 15 says, "Curses from the Lord." All right. Verse 15, Deuteronomy 28 and 15, it reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." All right. NLT, Deuteronomy 28. Whoa. What happened? Hold on. All right, NLT, Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And it reads, "You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sends you." Okay? And in the Good News, Deuteronomy 28 and 37. It reads, "In the countries to which the Lord will scatter you, the people will be shocked at what has happened to you. They will make fun of you and ridicule you." All right? So, all of these curses fell upon us at different times and in different empires. All right? They all didn't just happen at once. Okay? And they all are not happening at once. That's why you have some Israelites that are, they're in these other nations' state of mind. Okay, for one. For two, they may even be high up in these nations. All right. So that, but that doesn't mean that they were always that way throughout all time. At one time or another, all of these curses fell on the Israelites. And yes, some may have affected the whole world. Some of these curses may have affected the whole world or affect the whole world, but it falls on Israelites harder. Okay? So, um, no, all curses did not hit every single individual at one time, but all of these curses fell mainly on us at any given point throughout history. Okay? Now let's move on to verse 37. Oh, hold on, I just read 37, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't. So yeah, let's skip up from 15. All right, I just read 15. Let's read 37 now. Deuteronomy 28 and 37, and it reads, King James Version. It says, uh, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. Okay? All right, now we're going to get to the definitions of those words, all right, in a minute. Let's go in the NLT, Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Hold on. I messed up. So I apologize. Let me go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 15 in the NLT. I don't want to skip over this stuff. So above it, the heading says curses for disobedience. All right. Verse 15, Deuteronomy 28 and 15, it reads, but if thou refuse to listen to the Lord your God and do not obey all the commands and decrees I am giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. All right, that was in the NLT. All right, that was Deuteronomy 28 and 15 in the NLT. Let me go back to the good news. Deuteronomy 28 and 15 in the good news. The heading above 15, it says the consequences of disobedience. Okay. Deuteronomy 28 and 15, it says, but if you disobey the Lord your God and do not faithfully keep all his commands and laws that I am giving you today, all these evil things will happen to you. All right. So, yes, all these curses fell upon us at different times and in different empires. Not all curses um, hit every single individual at one time, but all of these curses fell mainly on us at any given point throughout history. Now we can go to 37. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. All right. Deuteronomy 28 and 37 in the NLT. You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sends you. In Deuteronomy 28 and 37 in the Good News translation, it reads, where's it at? It reads, in the countries to which the Lord will scatter you, the people will be shocked at what has happened to you. They will make fun of you and ridicule you. All right. So, and thou shall become an astonishment. All right. So, definition for astonishment, or some words that we're going to pull from astonishment, is waste, horror, and appallment. All right. A waste of, and that means of land or city. You know what I'm saying? Or a waste of anything. Okay. So, for the most part, people look upon us in horror. Like they don't want to be around these type of people, right? No one wants to be around us, all right? All right. because of what we've become. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 19. Okay, Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 19. It says, "These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine, and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee?" All right. Now, let's see what that says in the NLT. Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 19. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 19 in the NLT. And it reads, "These two calamities have fallen on you: desolation and destruction, famine and war. And who is left to sympathize with you? Who is left to comfort you?" Okay. In the good news, Isaiah 51 and 19 in the Good News translation. And it reads, "A double disaster has fallen on you. Your land has been devastated by war, and your people have starved. There is no one to show you sympathy." Okay. So we were destroyed as a people. That word destroyed goes into destructuring. There is no structure in our people. All right. So let's go to Hosea now. Let's go to Hosea. Chapter 4. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. All right. And it reads, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." So people who smack these teachings away are smacking away the Lord's hand, for one. Okay. Smacking away knowledge. So you are going to stay destroyed until the Lord actually comes down here and destroys you with fire, unless you repent while there's still time. All right. So again, Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." Let's go. NLT. NLT, Hosea 4 and 6. And it reads, "My people are being destroyed because they don't know me. Since you priests refuse to know me, I refuse to recognize you as my priests. Since you have forgotten the laws of your God, I will forget to bless your children." So all of that crying why in the end When your family, when your children are getting messed up, all right, uh, you already know the answer. You have the answer right here, all right. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 in the Good News translation. It reads, "My people are doomed because they do not acknowledge me. You priests have refused to acknowledge me and have rejected my teaching. And so I reject you and will not acknowledge your sons as my priests." All right. So falling away from the laws, statutes, and commandments in the beginning, and the lack of knowledge from then until now, right, is what has and is causing the deterioration, along with the worship of idols. All right, all of that put together is why we are in this state. All right, why most of Israel, why 2/3 of Israel is in this state. All right, this began the destruction of our nation when we started going away. All right, and it's lasting until now. All right. Let me get this concordance out of here. Okay. Another thing I wanted to point out, just really quick. This is not something I wrote down in this lesson. Okay, this is just something that just came to mind. The further time moves along, all right, the more harder they're going to make it to get historical facts, to see the correct printing of the Bible. I mean, they're already changing the Bible. PETA has a Bible for animals. All right, I think Moab, which is the Chinese, I think they're rewriting their own version of it. Um, from what I heard or from what I read in the headlines, that could be true or not true. The point is that this world is afraid of and dislikes and wants to go against the scriptures all the time. Okay, especially now that the truth is coming out about the scriptures. When the truth wasn't coming out, all right, and when most of this world was in darkness before the remnant started to waking up, for the most part, in these times today, scriptures weren't a problem. To as much so as they make it to be today. All right, they're calling it hate speech. Um, they're just straight up going against everything scripturally, and they have you questioning um, what the Lord said plainly. All right, man shouldn't lay with man, nor woman with woman. Man shouldn't lay with beasts. Um, all the things you can and can't eat. Those things that you can't eat. That's not just to tell you not to eat them. I mean that those things cause health issues, man, and they're good for the earth to be here. They cleanse the earth. Pigs, swine, um, shrimp, crab, all those bottom feeders. Okay, so uh, these scriptures are they're going against them. You don't see them going against these other books. All right, they're pushing these other books out more because they want us, speaking to the remnant, they want us away from this. This is where we find the knowledge. This is where we find our power. Okay, all right, this is where we come into remembrance of who we are. All right, and the ones that are meant to, um, it's still going to happen for us. Okay, Lord willing, I'm of that number, because it is written, it's prophecy. The Lord doesn't lie and he won't fail. All right, but just so you understand that this world is not for you. All right, if it wasn't for the Lord, it's definitely not going to be for you. If the world hates the Lord, it's definitely going to hate you. Okay, the main thing is to hold on and hold on to these things tight, to drink all of this water, the good and the bad, to know what's coming. All right, I think that was the thought that I had just now. All right, so now let's move on back to the lesson. The lowest class. Let's go to Isaiah. Back to Isaiah chapter 51. Isaiah 51 and verse 20 now, okay? It says, Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. All right, let's see what that says in the NLT. Isaiah 51. Hey, yo, this world is so wild. It has more than one person, which is enough, all right, confused on what a woman is. Did you ever think that that would even be a question? Babylon the Great, man. Even in Babylon, I don't think they were confused to what a woman was. This is Babylon the Great. You are confused on what people don't know what a woman is, man, or they're afraid to say what a woman is. All right, where was I? Isaiah 51 and verse 20 in the NLT. It says, For your children have fainted and lie in the streets, helpless as antelopes caught in a net. The Lord has poured out his fury. God has rebuked them. All right. Isaiah 51 and 19 in the Good News translation. It reads, A double disaster has fallen on you. Your land has been devastated. This one I'm at? No, 20. I'm at 20. Excuse me. It says that Isaiah 51 and 20 in the Good News translation. It says, At the corner of every street, your people collapse from weakness. They are like deer caught in a hunter's net. They have felt the force of God's anger. All right. So the consensus, all right, the main thought about our people around the world, all right, is that all Israelites are what you see on TV and what is portrayed in movies. This is not the case, though, all right? So, fainted, it means covered, encrusted, okay? To enwrap oneself, disguise oneself, faint, all right? We went from being a holy nation and a royal priesthood to something that is unrecognizable. But the Lord is now putting our true covering back upon us of being the Israelites. All right, we're coming back into remembrance of who we are. Okay. All right. So what happens if you put a wild bull into a net? It'll start bucking and acting a fool, and this is our nation today. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 37. And it reads, And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. All right, we read this verse before. Let's read it again and again and again. All right. Repetition is going to help you keep these things in mind. Okay. And there's different points to pull out of different verses. I mean, of the same verse. It doesn't have to. These scriptures, the meaning behind them are not dull things. There's a lot of things in here. Okay. Where was I going? Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Man. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and 37 in the NLT. You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sends you. And yes, I'm going to read it in the Good News. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 37. And it reads, in the countries to which the Lord will scatter you, the people will be shocked at what has happened to you. They will make fun of you and ridicule you. All right, so a proverb, all right? Proverb means a proverb or a parable, okay? A proverbial saying, an aphorism, all right? An example is one little, two little, three little Indians, all right? Or eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigga by his toe, all right? You know, these are bywords, nigga, Indian, okay? Another example, tonto, wetback, nigger, okay? All right, so it could be a poem like what I just read up there, the eeny, meeny, miny, mo's, but it's not, those are not endearing poems, all right? They speak to what we've become. They're making fun of you, okay? Sentences of ethical wisdom or ethical maxims. That's what those are things, that's what a proverb, that's what is in the definition of a proverb, all right? Similitudes. They make fun of you because of what you've become, all right? An aphorism is a pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. All right, so pretty much Israel has become a joke among all the nations, all right? Even amongst ourselves, we become a joke, all right? So what is a byword? A sharp word, sharp cutting word, all right? A taunt. So that's why you feel something when somebody calls you a nigger or somebody calls, you know, one of our brothers in Gad or Reuben an Indian, all right? Or one of our brothers in the tribe of Issachar called him a wetback, all right? You know, it's a sharp cutting word, man. Because in deep down we know that that is not what we are. We know that we are something greater, all right, than these words that have been put on us, all right? So we went from being the glorious people of the Lord to being a taunt, okay? So again, with byword, it is a person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something. I had even said before, I mentioned before that we strive to be what this world tells us to be, as far as Judah is concerned. Or they even call some of Issachar, anyone who's melanated, all right, takes on that word nigger in one form or in one form in one form or fashion, okay? All right? But the world tells us through the music, through the movies, to strive to be a real nigga, okay? Think about that for a minute. You are striving to be what this world tells you, not what the word tells you, not what this water tells you, that you are an Israelite. All right? You were wholly planted You were wholly planted by the Lord, all right? But instead, you want to go be a real nigga, all right? So they want you to bask in your ignorance. Be the most ignorant you can be, and they uplift you for it. A lot of our millionaires, a lot of them, I didn't say all of them, a lot of them came from pushing this madness on our own people with this music, all right? And although we can take blame for that, right? But who runs these these the music industry? Who runs these music companies? Who pushes that? Why isn't it pushed in these other genres of music? Why just especially the music this music is aimed at the youth, okay? And that's where most of our millionaires have came from is pushing this shit. Pushing this shit. And then the crazy thing is the money you got, the money you think you're getting, the money that you flaunt, especially in front of your own kind, okay? You look down on them if they don't have money, all right? They about that money that you have is about to get taken away or turned into something else, and you are going to have to take another step towards them if you want to keep your lifestyle. What are you going to do? For the most part, you guys are going to obey and take this C-hip, this mark, all right, and pledge allegiance to whom you call yourself cussing these people out, right? You call yourself not being on their side, but you're not on the Lord's side. If you aren't on the Lord's side, you are on their side, all right? I call it Edom mode. Because no matter how you look at that, Edom mode, if you were to write those out, the letters, no matter how you look at that, you twist it, you're still in Edom mode. No matter how you look at it, if you're not of the Lord's, you are in Edom mode, even if you are not a part of Edom, all right? So, so a byword is a person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something. In our case, in a bad sense, in an infamous sense, all right? So, a byword, a word or expression summarizing a thing's characteristics or a person's principles. What characteristics does a nigga have, huh? What characteristics better yet, what characteristics are characteristics of a real nigga, huh? What principles does a real nigga have? Hmm? Think about that. This is why every Israelite in America is considered one way. From the poorest to the richest, they look at all of you one way, all right? And they lump us in there with you. We ain't niggas, we ain't black. We are Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, not black Hebrew Israelites either. You can't put that black in front of us, all right? We are Hebrew Israelites. All right, so this is why every Israelite in America is considered one way. We are either lazy, degenerates, robbers, thieves. The world loves to paint us with broad strokes, and you love to live up to those broad strokes instead of coming back and asking for the old paths. All right? It makes us sick, really. So what is a jibe? A G-I-B-E. What is a jibe? It is an insulting or mocking remark, a taunt. All right? That's how we are looked at. So this is what we have become. We are not considered as Israelites, and even when we claim our heritage or our nationality, right? Israelite is your nationality, Hebrew is your heritage, all right? Even when we claim those two things, we are laughed at, even amongst our own people, all right? Any people can be the Lord's people except for us. Have you noticed that? that this has people up in an uproar. Even Israelites, they they swear up and down we cannot be the people. Even Israelites. The the thought of us being the people is appalling and insane to the world. To the world, it is impossible. To the oikoumene, it is impossible. Okay? Um, so Deuteronomy 28 and 37. This verse is indeed true, and it is a part of the curses. All right. This shows that we would not be considered as nor called Israelites. All right, let's go to Isaiah, or yeah, I'll go for a little bit more. Let me see. Now, you know what? I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there and save the last for tomorrow, Lord willing. All right. Uh, so um, I'll pick back up again, of course, with Deuteronomy and 28 and 37. Lord willing. Everything is Lord willing. Okay. Uh, but now, so that's the end of that topic. All right. I'm about to go off of my notes, although this is also what I've learned from my teachers. All right. But this isn't included in the lowest class topic. So the more you read these scriptures, all right, the more you will know that they are faithful and true. Okay. So one of the things that the Lord told us as his men, Lord willing them of that number, is to give Israel warning from him. Okay. One of these warnings amongst many warnings. But since this is the time that we're in, I'm going to this warning right here. It's in Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17. All right. All right. This is the King James Version. This is a warning from the Lord. All right. Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17 in the King James. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." All right. I'm going to go ahead and read 18. It says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So when you hear score, all right, it's talking about 20. So 3 score is 60. Okay. All right. So let me read that in the NLT. Revelation. Revelation 13, verse 16, 17, and 18. It says, he, in the NLT, all right, it says, "He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name." Wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. All right, hold on. I want to see something really quick. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. And then the good news. Revelation 13. 16 through 18. And it reads, this is Revelation 13, 16 through 18 in the Good News translation. It says, the beast forced all the people, small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads. No one could buy or sell without this mark. That is the beast's name or the number that stands for the name. This calls for wisdom. Whoever is intelligent can figure out the meaning of the number of the beast, because the number stands for the name of someone. Its number is 666. So that is a warning. And so there is no confusion. Don't get caught up on in your right hand. All right. It can be in your hands. It can be in your forearms. It can be just in you. Okay. And it doesn't have to be in the center of your forehead. All right. So the face of the head, C plus hip, is um uh uh I don't know. Let me see. His name rhymes with uh B long cusk. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already been shown to have a first human test dummy. Okay. Um, so he is only the face. All right. This thing has been in the works, um, and it's going to spring up everywhere. They're just using him as the face. All right. And as far as the one in your hands, this thing is already around, and they're going to get you through convenience. They're going to get you through their little false miracles. All right. They want to be like like the Lord. Okay. They want to give you the ability to walk again, talk again, move. If you're paralyzed, they want to give you the ability to move. Uh, even uh, tell you, or have you thinking that you can do telekinesis. Okay. All right. They're gonna get you telling you that it's easier, it's more convenient to have your information, your data in you than in a wallet. So your medical data, uh, your banking data. Okay. And not only medical data as in files from the doctor, but I'm talking like real time data on your medical. Just like you have the Fitbits. All right. It's going to work as a key fob to your cars, your safes, doors in your houses. Uh, I don't know, all kinds of stuff, man. There are going to be many reasons why people want to take this. All right, mainly because they're lazy. Okay, and they just want to keep up with the Joneses on technology. They want to be able to brag and flaunt and. Uh, but the main reason to pay attention to this is because it's something that the Lord told you to watch out for and to not take. All right. Do not take this C plus hip. Put those together. The letter C plus hip. All right. Do not take this no matter what. All right. They're also going to threaten you. All right. There's also going to be bad reasons for you to take it. They're going to threaten you. And although you think that you are going to be fine, If you are threatened, what are you going to do if they threaten your kids, your wife, your mother, your sisters, your brothers? Are you going to take it then? The answer should be no. There should be no thinking about this. And as a matter of fact, you should be warning your mother, your sister, your brother, your kids, all right, your wife, your husband, all right, your uncle, um, your second cousin once removed on your pappy side, all right. Warning. Give this warning. Take heed of this warning, all right. Do not take this C hip, no matter what. Um, and where the fear of the Lord comes in at is, again, many reasons you should fear the Lord, all right. But as far as this is concerned, is even though you're sitting here listening to this, if you are thinking in your head that you won't take it, if the Lord means for you to take it, you're going to take it. If you are the Lord's, you won't take it. All right. So, what else? I don't know. Just pay attention, man, because these people are not playing around. This is not a game to them, nor is it a game to the remnant like it is everybody else in the middle. All right. These are the two factions that are taking this thing seriously because it is true. These scriptures are true. Okay. Most of the world is stuck in between, not pay attention, just walking around like everything is all right. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for now. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. So with that, I'm going to say all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone, where I've learned this truth. And shalom to the sincere followers of this truth. The sincere followers of this truth. Shalom.